I'm Jennifer Johnson and I raise sheep for their wool.
Welcome to Whispering Pines Shetland Sheep Farm in western New York State, home to our lovely flock of soft Shetland sheep. We breed and raise our sheep to produce soft, crimpy wool for hand spinners to enjoy. Thank you for liking this video and for subscribing to our channel. We raise a flock of Shetland sheep specifically for discriminating hand spinners who value fine, crimpy wool. Every decision we make, from breeding to pasture management, is aimed at producing exceptional fleece that's a joy to spin. We're not in it for meat, shows, or novelty. We're here for the fiber and the spinners who appreciate it. Here's a fun moment from one of our customers unboxing 2 fleeces she bought from us. It's always a joy to see our wool in good hands. That mission of raising sheep for their wool guides everything we do here on the farm, including today's activity, collecting fiber samples to be evaluated by the Wool and Mohair Lab at Texas A&M. This isn't just a box to check. This data is essential. It gives us real, measurable insight into the quality of each sheep's fleece, helping us make informed breeding and culling decisions that directly support our commitment to hand spinners. When you secure wool from a specific ewe here, you're not just getting beautiful fleece. You're getting the full story. I provide the Micron data so you can make an educated decision about the wool you choose to spin, because I believe the more you know about your fiber, the more satisfying the spin. So I just came in the barn, and the girls are wondering what's going on because I'm in here a little bit early, but I'm gonna get everything set up now so we can get their samples taken. We're also gonna probably change some of the coats because some got ripped and some are a little bit on the small side. So for that last little stretch of growth, which they're probably done growing now, but at least it'll make them a little more comfortable. I'm gonna get to work. When I'm putting the sheep into the handling system, I create a lane with these side L panels to get them in there. Once I get them in, then I have to create a lane for them to exit. And I haven't fed them yet, so they're very motivated. The biggest challenge I have is when I get them through, they always want to reverse, so I have to keep them flowing into the handling system, so it's quite the trick. Whenever I need to work with the sheep, I always do it first thing in the morning, before they eat. They're still locked in the barn from overnight, so there's no need to corral them, and they're motivated to move through the handling system because they know breakfast is waiting on the other side. It makes things flow more smoothly and keeps the whole process a lot less stressful for everyone. Plus, they're less likely to make a mess during handling when their systems are still quiet, and I don't end up with wasted hay trampled underfoot if I wait to feed them afterward.
Can you get off of here so I can do my clean?
Even though I cleaned the barn last night, I'm wearing a mask this morning because once the sheep start moving through the system, they kick up a lot of dust. Plus, there's a desiccant on the floor to keep it dry, and that creates even more fine particles in the air. The mask helps me breathe easier and stay healthy so I can keep showing up for these sheep year after year. A few last checks and then we're ready to run the flock through.
All right, we're ready to go. So I'm wearing a mask because when they run in there, they kick up tons of dust.
I know that to someone unfamiliar with livestock, the way we handle our sheep might look a little rough, but the truth is we're working quickly and efficiently because we care about their well-being. Anytime you change a sheep's routine, whether you're handling them or just moving them to a new part of the barn, it causes stress. Our goal is to keep that stress to a minimum by getting things done as smoothly and swiftly as possible. It's kind of like pulling a loose tooth on your child or taking off a Band-Aid, fast and with purpose. Or even putting your child on the school bus for the first time. It might look harsh from the outside, but you're doing it with love and with their best interest in mind. That's exactly how we approach handling our flock, with experience, care, and the understanding that the quicker we work, the sooner they're back to what they know and love.
All right, so they're all loaded in, and we're ready to get the samples. And I got my helpers here, if you guys don't mind. So Chris is going to do the handling system, and Hannah's going to be our record keeper. Yep.
We've all got masks on because it's dusty.
It's very dusty in here because of the desiccant, but it'll it'll die down here shortly.
I've got 2 helpers with me today who were kind enough to show up early on a Sunday morning. And let me tell you, having good company makes this work so much more enjoyable. It's amazing what a difference a few extra hands and some good attitudes can make. We take our fiber samples in the spring once the sheep have reached their full staple length for the year. Instead of clipping, we rue the sample, gently removing it by hand at the natural break in the fleece. This gives us the true staple length and fiber profile without mixing in early regrowth from next year or sampling too early before the fleece is fully mature. We take our fiber samples from a very specific location on each sheep, the 5th mid-rib. This isn't a random spot. It's actually the industry standard for fleece testing. Wool varies across the sheep's body. It's usually finest near the shoulders and head, and coarser near the tail and hindquarters. If we picked a different location on every sheep, or just chose the softest area, we'd get inconsistent and misleading results. By always taking the sample from the 5th rib down the side, halfway between the spine and the belly, we get a consistent and representative sample of the fleece. This means we can compare fleeces within our own flock accurately, and even compare with other flocks who test the same way. Getting the fiber sample off each sheep is just one part of the day's work. One of my helpers is handling the critical job of labeling the samples and recording notes, capturing anything Rich or I mention about a ewe as we go. For example, Rich did FAMACHA testing on a few thinner ewes to check for possible parasite load, and she made a note of that right on the spreadsheet I printed with records for every sheep. She writes each ewe's name, ear tag, and the year on a small plastic bag, places the fiber sample inside, and then marks that ewe off the spreadsheet. These labels aren't just for our records. They go with the samples when we mail them to the lab. The lab uses that information to match each sample to the ewe on the final report. So the accuracy of this step is really important. It's detailed, behind-the-scenes work, but it keeps everything organized and ensures the data we get back is meaningful and usable for both our breeding decisions and for sharing with handspinners.
So my job is to label the samples. So I have my spreadsheet which has the ewe's name. Basically the information I need is the ewe's name and their tag number. Jen is making a decision on rue or shear. The information that goes on the bags is the year, the tag number and the name. You can see we've got all the different colours here, so there'll be one for every ewe. We should have 57 in here, I'm about to count.
57?
And all that's missing is 4 ram lambs.
And the 2 adult rams.
You've got
Oh, I got
adult
the 2
ram-
adults
yeah,
are in
you've
there
got the
already.
adults,
So we
we've
still
got
have 4 lambs to
two
do.
ad-
What other stuff did you write down there?
You were checking some eyelids, which is a guide for if they may have a parasite load. The eyelid would be really pale. If it's a normal pink colour, we write okay, and all 3 that we checked were fine.
Okay.
So,
And those
yeah.
are just your notes.
Yeah, so the 4 that are missing, the 2 ram lambs that were born here, which we named Peregrine Falcon, Cooper's Hawk, and the 2 that came in were Earl Brown and Earl Grey. So when we get their samples, they'll get a check mark and have a little baggie of their own
Great.
too.
Well, thanks for your help. Couldn't do it without you.
Cup of
Thank you,
tea.
Chris.
That's my catchphrase.
Fantastic.
One of the other things I'm hoping to accomplish today is evaluating each ewe to decide whether she'll be rued or shorn this year. We've got 60 ewes and 6 rams. I'll be shearing all the rams, and since we shear in June, I need at least 25 sheep for the shearer to make this trip worthwhile. That means I need to identify 19 ewes who'll be shorn instead of rued. I wish I could rue the entire flock. It gives me really clean staple tips, but it's just not practical. Not every ewe has a good natural break in the fleece, and some are better suited to shearing, so today's a good time to make those decisions as I go through the flock. Samples are all collected, so now it's time for some sheep love. These fiber samples are now on their way to the lab, and soon we'll have the data that helps shape the future of our flock. But that same data isn't just for us, it's also for you. Every fleece sold in our upcoming annual auction will include the lab results, so you can choose the wool that fits your spinning style with confidence. Stay tuned. We'll be sharing more soon as we get ready for the auction.